Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Village of Bartlett Board meeting for August 20, 2019. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Kimmer.
Present.
Carbonell.
Present.
Daney.
Here.
Cabrera. Here. Hopkins.
Here.
Ranky.
Present.
President Wallace.
Here. We've requested that Father Christopher Chomek of the St. Peter Damian Catholic Church do our invocation this evening. Father?
So this evening we are going to hear a passage from the Bible. Is from the letter of St. Paul to Colossians. Put on, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If one has a grievance against another, as the Lord has forgiven you, so must you also do. And over all these, put on love, that is the bond of perfection. And let the peace of Christ control your hearts, the peace into which you were also called in one body. And be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, as in all wisdom you teach and admonish one another. And whatever you do, in word or in deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. Amen.
Thank you, Father. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brings us to our consent agenda this evening. All items listed with an asterisk will be enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on the items on the consent agenda. At this point, is there anything a board member would like to add to the consent?
I would like to add A1 to the consent agenda tonight.
Anybody have any discussion revolving A1? Anything else?
Mr. President, I'd like to add item B1 to the consent agenda, please.
We've talked about that a few times. Does anybody have any questions or concerns with adding B1 to the consent agenda?
And Mr. President, I'd like to add F1.
It's in the budget. Everybody's okay with adding F1 to the consent agenda?
Correct.
All right. With that, I will entertain a motion to amend the consent agenda to include the following: the minutes, the board and committee minutes from July 16, 2019, the bills list from August 6, 2019 and August 20, 2019. This evening, the consent will be adding an ordinance reducing the Bartlett Plan Commission from 11 members to 9 members. The consent will also be adding under Community and Economic Development a resolution approving of the Project Oak Economic Incentive Agreement. The consent will also be including ordinance granting a second one-year extension for construction to commence on Lot 2 of the Artist Senior Living Subdivision for Alden Estates of Bartlett. The consent this evening will also include under Finance and Golf a resolution granting the U46 July 17, 2019 request for release of school donations and authorizing the release of the budgeted $426,370.25 to U46 from the Developer Deposit Fund. The consent this evening will also include under license and ordinance Hanover Township Class D liquor license, O'Hare Pubs Class J liquor license, Bartlett Days road closure, Bartlett High School homecoming fireworks request, Bartlett High School homecoming parade request. The consent will also include, be adding under Public Works, purchase of 2 2021 International HV 607 dump trucks from Rush Truck Center in Chicago. The consent this evening will also include a resolution approving of the 2019 sanitary sewer lining agreement between the Village of Bartlett and Hoare Construction. And also include an ordinance amending the Bartlett Municipal Code, Section 6-11-1303.1, Schedule V, no parking zones.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Daney, seconded by trustee Carbonaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Daney,
Yes.
Cabrera,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Camer, seconded by trustee Daney. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Cabrera,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Daney.
Yes.
That motion carries. Brings us to our treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer?
Thank you. Included in the meetings packet is the treasurer's report for the month of June. Also included is the sales tax report showing $187,952 received for the month of April. That was $6,800 less than the prior year. The total on the year, we were down $72,000. Sales tax is picking up the next 2 months, though, so it seemed to just be a seasonal lull. Also included is the MFT receipts. We received $83,590. That was down $3,000 from the prior year, about 3%. With the new motor fuel tax, it appears that we will be receiving more money in the MFT fund as the months go forward, though. That's it for the treasurer's report, unless there's any questions.
I saw that the state is actually sharing a little bit of that extra municipal-wise. That's good. Okay. Anyone else have anything for the treasurer? Hearing none, we'll move on to the president's report this evening. The only thing we have is commission reappointments. First commission reappointment is Fire and Police Commission with a 3-year term, Jane Kirkby, John McGuire, and John Stampy. With the advice and consent of the village board, I'll entertain a motion to consent to the approval of these 3 folks for the Fire and Police Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Daney, seconded by trustee Carbonaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Hopkins,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Daney,
Yes.
Cabrera.
Yes.
And if anyone of those are in the audience, thank you for your service. We really appreciate it. Next, Plan Commission for a 4-year term. There are some questions about staggering these, so just you Planning Commission folks that are in the audience, we are going to be talking about coming up with a better staggering opportunity. There'll be 2 that'll be coming up soon, and now we've got 7 that will be all in the same term. So we'll probably be talking to some of you folks about trying to stagger those terms a little bit, just so we have not everybody coming up at the same time, but we just didn't get it on this agenda. So with that being said, I will entertain a motion to consent for the appointment of Austin Hopkins, Mark Hopkins, Jerry Callis, James Limburg, John Miasso, Diane Nagel, and Tim Ridenour to the Plan Commission for a 4-year term.
So moved proudly. I respect every one of those people.
Daney, seconded by trustee Carbonaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Ranky,
Yes.
Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Daney,
Yes.
Cabrera,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Abstain.
And for those of you that are in the audience from the Plan Commission, I know there's some of you out there. Thank you so very much for your service. We really appreciate it. The village appreciates it. And finally, we will be reappointing, with the consent of the board, the following. I'll entertain a motion to consent to reappoint Joe Bano, Bob Vaccaro, Robert Vaccaro, and George Corzio.
So moved again.
Second.
Moved by trustee Daney, seconded by trustee Carbonaro. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Camera,
Yes.
Carbonaro,
Yes.
Daney,
Yes.
Cabrera,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Ranky.
Yes.
The motion carries. So with the advice and consent of the village board, I reappoint the following individuals to the terms indicating beginning August 20, 2019. Thank you so very much for being here, and thank you for your service, everyone. Anyone have any questions for staff?
I have one question. In regard to Bartlett Days, with the road closures, and this would actually probably be for Chief Ulrich, with the road closures that they're suggesting, the intersection of Western and Railroad would likely become more congested than usual in that difficult turn. Do we have a plan for that?
I'm not sure that we've taken a look at that yet, but we can definitely do that and see what we can come up with.
I know that that's been a concern from a lot of those neighbors just on a regular daily basis, so knowing that ahead of time might be good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a fan in the audience. It's okay, you can clap.
Thanks, buddy.
I think he's tied my kid's all-time record for being at a board meeting. Any other questions?
I just have a couple announcements I'd like to make. First, we have anniversary for Pam Rolander. She has 23 years of service with the village. And then we have some really some special birthdays that are here. Pam, it's her birthday again. It was, they never give me the year. They just give me the month and the date, so maybe that's a good thing. Pam Rolander, August 15th. And Lorna over here, August the 4th. Todd, we're all here. He was, what's coming up, August 28th. And lastly, Village Trustee Vince Carbonaro, August the 1st. Congratulations all.
Yay. Thank you, Trustee Daney. Brings us to our town hall portion of the meeting this evening. If you wish to address the board, please step up to the podium, state your name and your address for the record, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less.
My name is Grace Gabrenia, and I live on 953 Bait Tree Drive. I am 11 and in 6th grade. I have a love for animals, and I'm here today to inform you about puppy mills. Puppy mills are a cool place where dogs are forcefully bred. The dogs that are used to breed are usually sick, abused, or injured. The puppies that come from the sick parents may seem cute, but on the inside they may be full of diseases and less energetic than most puppies. After a person finds out that their puppy that they paid thousands of dollars for is sick and will cost thousands more in vet bills, the owners might abandon the sick puppies to an overcrowded shelter, which will later result in even more problems. Now, puppy mills can be just about anywhere. Have you seen the movie A Dog's Purpose? Well, in the beginning, Bailey, the red retriever, comes from a backyard puppy mill. A backyard puppy mill is just a place where dogs are bred in the backyard of someone's house. There are also bigger industries that breed dogs that are also puppy mills. There are puppy mills that are legal, but they need a license. Puppy mills without license are considered illegal in some states. Puppy mills sell their puppies to pet stores, and then you see those little cuties in the window of your local pet shop. After hearing this, I just want to inform you that you should get a dog from a breeder, not a pet store. Breeders have a higher reputation and can help you know what the health of the puppies will be. Chicago is one of the many towns and cities that have made puppy mills illegal. I'd like our town to have that law as well, so that puppy mills may one day stop for the sake of man's best friend. So I'm here today asking you to consider two things. 1, creating an ordinance to keep dogs from puppy mills from being sold in Bartlett. And 2, to ensure that dogs in Bartlett are bred in a professional and humane environment.
Thank you, Grace. Grace, do you know of any other villages that have puppy mills? Puppy mill ordinances? Do you know of any other villages that have them other than the city of Chicago?
No,
The
but
city of Chicago does?
yes, I know that for a fact.
Okay. Maybe we'll take a look at that ordinance, right?
We can certainly do that, Mayor. I know the City of Downers Grove was recently commended by DuPage Mayor and Managers for having such an ordinance. So we'll reach out to the conference and to them and take a look at what they put together.
All right, we'll see what we can do. Thank you for being here. And good job.
George Cozio, 654 Hazelnut Court. I'm happy to have this opportunity to speak at today's town hall. I have something very important to say tonight. I need to say thank you for the honor and privilege of serving on the Bartlett ZBA for the past 17 years. Again, I want to thank you for recognizing me tonight and allowing me to serve for 5 more years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Anyone else like to address the board at this time?
getting to be a fixture here. My name's Terry Pearson, 1178 Foxborough Lane, and I'm back to talk about US 59 and Stearns. And I know nobody wants to take responsibility for that area. However, as we were driving here, my associates and I counted 4 lanes of traffic if you come out of Walgreens to turn right or left onto that road. We're thinking that's way too many. And when it's done, is it going to be all right turns in that whole intersection? Anybody know?
So long I forget.
Yes, I know.
Dan?
Yes, the east leg of Stearns by Walgreens, the driveway that's there, once the work is completely done, there will be a raised median from 59 up to the driveway, prohibiting eastbound to northbound left turns, and exiting the Walgreens, you'll be able to make a left on non-peak. So it'll be signed, no left turns during the peak morning and peak afternoon, but no, so no left turns then, but it'll be allowed during the non-peak.
Okay, another question regarding same area. If we're headed eastbound and you want to turn into Walgreens, instead of waiting for the arrow to go down 59 and then turn right to come in, people are going across a double yellow line. When I grew up, you never crossed a double yellow line. Something needs to be done before we have, just a couple of weeks ago, we had another accident at 59 in Stearns. So,
That's going to be prohibited, right? If we go eastbound on the
no, but
Stearns,
it
you
should
can't.
be, right, I'm sorry, Mayor, it should be now. You know how you'll stop it? Put a policeman there and write the ticket. And when enough people see that, maybe they'll
I agree with that. We'll talk about that. We'll look into that. I agree with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Jerry.
one other question. Army Trail in 59. Construction seems to be going there. Do we know what is going to be done?
I know they're widening part of it. Specifically, Dan?
Yeah, Army Trail 59, I believe they will be adding dual lefts going on the 59 legs. So dual left southbound to eastbound and dual lefts going north to west on Army Trail in either direction. And I believe we'll still have the right turn lane going west to north. I don't believe there might be a right turn. Is there a right turn going northbound to eastbound? I'd have to look at that, but I know the main improvement is the dual
When
lefts.
somebody somewhere at whatever level decides they're going to make improvements, is it ever published somewhere to show a map exactly what it's going to look like 6 years from
I
when
think
they
we
start?
talked about, we had committee and board meetings 2 years ago on that.
It's been quite a while.
So we went through it all, and a few of the restrictions I remember specifically were the ability to allow that strip mall during non-peak hours to have people be able to get out of there. That was one of the discussions. So if you go back, maybe somebody can look it up and maybe make a note of where it's at as far as the discussions and the plans. Or I'm sure we have IDOT's plans now.
Yeah, we can look and see if there's a link that we can put on our website or have them give us the latest and greatest plans and post them.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry.
Sorry to take up so much time, but these are pressing matters.
I just wanted to provide an update on the Stearns and 59 that we received from IDOT. You've probably seen the signs out there. The latest is they're supposed to be mobilizing Friday, starting next week. They still claim that they will be done this fall.
By November, they're saying, allegedly.
Komorowski, 1186 Linfield. The only question I have tonight, are we completely on Chicago water now?
Yes, we are.
Why do I still need a water softener?
My wife says the same thing, but I actually went back and forth with someone. There is still calcium in the water, so that makes it feel a little harder than like a regular softener, is what I was told. But there's no more iron or other hard substances.
Right. The water is not completely soft, because that actually is more harmful to your pipelines.
What is the hardness of the water right now?
It's, I think it's around 8 grains.
18?
8 to 10.
I know somebody said they tested before we switched over, and after it was at like 21 and went down to 8.
Right. So it's all a matter of preference. I still recommend that you try without the softener, because a lot of times people that are softening it to the point where it's too soft. So you just have to try it, and you might need, some people's preference is to have it softer than what Lake Michigan, what we're receiving, but you should be able to dial down how much you are softening. So if you were softening and recharging every few days or every week or whatever, that frequency should drastically drop.
Okay, well, my wife, she bleaches her hair, and she can really tell the difference. As there's no doubt that it's not soft water, period. And I still see Home Depot selling salt, so I'm thinking that we're still buying it.
Well, there's other places, people still use softeners.
But what is the goal? Where are we trying to get, to 12, or what's the hardness?
Well, the hardness is, that's where we're at, is what we're
Is that
getting from
18?
Lake Michigan. So now it's a matter of preference of whether people want it less than that.
8 grains, not 18.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Andrew Lazaro. I live at 1179 Foxborough Court. We've got a problem there with people making this turn off at Brewster. The other day, one of them came up on my lawn. We need to do something. You put a stop sign, a speed bump, something. You got kids' bus stops there, and they think...
Where's it at?
Foxborough Lane and Brewster. It's right on the corner.
Okay.
I come off the turn and came up on my lawn. Too close for me. We got to do something there. We complained about that before, but, now we got more kids in the neighborhood. And when you got idiots that can't make a turn, and they like to go too fast over there. So we can get a speed bump, a stop sign, a sign that says children playing, something.
Chief, you'll take a look at the intersection? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board this evening? Hearing none, we will move on to our standing committee reports. If I'm reading this correctly, I believe everything on our committee reports this evening was handled under our consent agenda. So in lieu of calling everyone's name with nothing left to report, we will move on to new business. Does anyone have any new business they'd like to report?
I would like to make mention of an event, the Bartlett Lions, formerly Labor Day Dash, now called Lions Dash, was formerly in downtown Bartlett and has been moved to James Pate Phillips State Park. It is this Sunday morning, and from what I understand, they've got a lot of pre-registered participants already in the works, and so if you're a runner or a walker, this is a shameless endorsement, but I'm doing it anyway. If you're a runner or a walker, please support this changed event. It's supposed to be a beautiful day and a great opportunity to explore our James Pate Phillips State Park.
Yeah, it's a really nice track, too. I like the crushed gravel.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Good. I would just mention also the latest event that we had, the music in the park over here, seemed to be a big success with the food trucks and everything. That was well done. So, any questions for staff? Anyone? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Cameron, seconded by trustee Daney. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Carbonaro,
Yes.
Daney,
Yes.
Cabrera,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Ranky,
Yes.
Kimmer.
Yes.
We are adjourned.